last classes we were discussing about the chemical reactions and equation under chapter 1. So today we are going to discuss about acids, bases and salt under chapter 2. So in this session we are particularly going to discuss about only the fundamental properties of acids, bases and salts. Then in this particular thing, first we will discuss about this fundamental properties using the materials which you can see here. So you can see here lemon, curd and liquid soap, a bar soap is there, and you can see a chalk stick and salt which we are using for a food and sugar. So what we are first going to do is we are going to group these items depend on their properties. Okay, so first when you see this chopstick, it doesn't have any taste, so we are going to keep it aside. And now we are going to take this lemon. You know that the lemon is sour in taste, so we are going to group it as sour taste. And when you take this liquid soap, it is bitter in taste, so we are going to keep it here. And this bar soap is also the same, so this is bitter in taste. And this curd, when you take this curd is also sour in taste, so we are going to keep along with this lemon. And you can see salt is also it doesn't contain any it is not bitter in taste or it is not sour in taste, so we are going to keep aside along with this chopstick. And this sugar, it is almost different taste, it is not coming under any of these items, we are going to keep it as separate. So when you see here this lemon and this curd, this is of sour in taste because of the presence of acid, correct? So when you take this lemon, this is sour in taste because of the acid which is present in it, which is called as citric acid. When you take next thing is this curd is sour because of the acid present in it, which is lactic acid. So next to this liquid soap and this bar soap, which is bitter in taste because of the presence of bases in it. So bases are always bitter in taste and this acids will always be of sour in taste. So next thing is this we are taking chopstick and this salt, which is not of bitter or sour in taste. It has its own salty taste, so we are calling them as under the salt. Okay, so now we are going to predict the examples here. Examples of acids, you can see that citric acid and this contains lactic acid. And some other examples of acids also you have known. This is hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid. So they are also an example of acids. So now we move on to base. Bases are bitter in taste, that we know. And here you can see a liquid soap as well as bar soap. This contains, both also have bases, in which this liquid soap has potassium hydroxide and this bar soap contains sodium hydroxide. So we are going to write the example: potassium hydroxide KOH and sodium hydroxide NaOH. There are still some examples as calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxides. They are also examples of bases. And this salt, this normal salt which we are using for a food, that is sodium chloride. And this chopstick contains calcium carbonate. So these are some examples of acids, bases and salts. So next when you come for taste, so already we know that these acids are sour in taste, so this is sour in nature, so taste in nature. And this bases, these items, they are all bitter in taste. And the salt which contains, some of the salt will be sometimes sour, some of the salts are sweet, some of the salts are even bitter also. So we cannot say that all the salts are sour or sweet or bitter. The next property for us is neutralization reaction. So neutralization reaction is, so now we know about the acids, bases and salts. This is sour, this is bitter and this has salty nature. So what is meant by neutralization is, we know that always salt will be formed only by the neutralization reaction. So how the neutralization is happening is, when you add acid and base. Okay, so as I told you, examples: hydrochloric acid, potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide. I am going to give you acids. Hydrochloric acid along the acid side and sodium hydroxide in the base side I am giving. So when you add this acid to the base or the base towards the acid, so what will happen is, when you add this acid to the base, this acid will neutralize the bitter taste of this base. At the same time, this base, when it is added to acid, simultaneously it will happen. So when it is added, this base will neutralize the acidic nature, that is sour taste of the acid. So when you add this both together, this will neutralize each other and forming the salt. So always acid will neutralize the base and the base will neutralize the acid, result in the formation of salt. So neutralization reaction, what is happening is, acids will neutralize the base, that is bitter taste of the base, and this base will neutralize the acidic nature, neutralize the acidic nature of the acid, that is sour taste, and the salt will be formed result of the neutralization. When neutralization happens, the salt will be formed. So this is the property. So about neutralization. So next thing is very important, property identification. So how we can identify this is acid, this is base, or if I given some examples, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. If I give such formula to you, or this is the content, this is a base. If I am saying how we can identify this, means, so always acids, when you take acids, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, they will have hydrogen atoms in it. Okay, so hydrogen atom, in the sense, we cannot say that all the compounds which has hydrogen atoms are acids. The reason is, when you take this base, this is also contains hydrogen. When you take sugar, the formula of sugar is C12H22O11. So when you take the formula of this sugar, this also contains hydrogen, but it is not acid. It is not acid. So we can conclude that how we can identify this. All the acids will have hydrogen atom. That hydrogen atom should be a replaceable hydrogen atom. That should be replaced. How we can replace it? When you take hydrochloric acid and when you add water to that, what will happen is, this will be split off into H plus ions and Cl minus ions. Along with that, the water will be formed. So if you produce this H plus ions only, we can say that these are all acids. Okay, so this should have replaceable hydrogen atoms. Replaceable hydrogen atom, H plus. Next one is this bitter taste of this bases. How we can identify the bases? All the base will have this OH minus ions. Okay, they will have OH minus ions along with any of the metal. So we can say that they should have OH minus ions. Either they should be of metal oxides also, even metal oxides, metal hydroxides, ammonium hydroxide. They all will come under bases. So when you come to salts, salts also should have cation and anion. When you take cation and anion, apart from H plus and apart from OH minus, they should have cation and anion. Say for example, salts, I am giving example, sodium chloride, CaCO3. When you take this, they are having Na plus Cl minus. And calcium carbonate, calcium, this is a cation, and CO3 2 minus, this will be a anion. So they will have cation and anion apart from H plus ion, OH minus ion. So they will come under salts. So this is how we should identify acids, bases and salt. So acids should have replaceable hydrogen H plus ions, and this bases should have OH minus ions, that is hydroxide. hydroxide, or maybe it can be a metal hydroxide and even ammonium hydroxide also, NH4OH. Why I am mentioning here ammonium hydroxide? This is also hydroxide. Why ammonium hydroxide is a base? This is not a metal actually. So we are saying separately that ammonium hydroxide is also a base. And here in salts they should have cations and anions apart from H plus and OH minus ions. So next thing is solubility in water. It's very important thing. Solubility. So solubility in water. So how they are getting dissolved in water is, you take, I'm here now taking three things in this. Solubility of water, solubility in water. So we are going to find how acids are getting dissolved in water. So when you take acids and dissolve in water means I am taking now here hydrochloric acid. You can see that it is completely dissolved in water. There is no any sediment. It is not like just it is fully getting completely dissolved in water. So next thing is when you take a base. When you take a base and add in water, you are taking water and you are taking base. I am taking a soap, liquid soap. And now this also getting completely dissolved in water. It is not being settled as anything. Okay, so now I am taking salts. So when you take a salt, I am taking this salt, normal salt. It is getting dissolved. So by 1 minute it can be dissolved. And next, some of the salts, when you take the chalk piece, you can see that the chalk piece, when you powder it, and you can do it in your home and see. When you take a salt, this is also a salt, but when you dissolve this in water, means it will not get dissolved. So we can conclude that you can see that this bitter taste of this base is being dissolved in water. It is completely dissolved. Acid is also completely dissolved. Base, this is getting dissolved, but one more thing is exception is here is certain bases, magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, they are having very low solubility. It will take a long time to dissolve, or sometimes it will be insoluble also. So we can conclude by saying solubility in water, acids are completely soluble. And bases, certain bases, I told you that magnesium hydroxide is not dissolved in water. So some alkalis, that is bases, alkalis are there, they will dissolve in water. But other bases like magnesium hydroxide, they are all insoluble. And now salts, when it comes to salts, some of the salts are dissolved in water, some are insoluble. Insoluble also is there, soluble also is there. So two types of salts are also present under the salt category. Insoluble also, certain things. So when you take sodium chloride, it is soluble. When you take calcium carbonate, it is insoluble. So we can say that it is present in two forms also. And now we are going to say very important thing, that you are taking acids. We already I have added here is hydrochloric acid, and here I have added the base. Along with that, I have added sodium hydroxide also in it. It is already dissolved. And now we are going to test with the indicator. So first I am going to tell you what is meant by indicator. Indicator means we can see in switch box that a red color light would be there, which indicates that whether power is there or not. So here also indicator means it will indicate whether it contains acid or it contains base, or the solution is completely neutral. You are going to see that. So now indicate that. So first we are going to indicate whether it is acid or base or salt using these three indicators. First one is red litmus. The second one is blue litmus. Litmus is actually taken from the plant lichen plant, which is under the kingdom Thallophyta. This two, red litmus and blue litmus. Actually, it is from litmus. It is a natural indicator, and this phenolphthalein, this is an artificial synthetic indicator. So first we are going to do this first litmus and then phenolphthalein. So next we will continue that whether it is acid or base or salt depend on the color change. So first we are taking a red litmus paper. So we are going to dip this in the acid and then base and salt and in neutral solution. And in these three you can see they are all just colorless, looking colorless. We don't know that which is acid, which is base and which is salt or neutral. So we are going to conclude by seeing the color change. So first I am taking a red litmus paper and just I am going to dip it in a solution. So when I am dipping here in this solution, you can see that there is no color change. There is no color change in this red litmus paper. Just I am keeping aside. Now I am dipping a blue litmus in it. In this, I am dipping a blue litmus in this same solution. You can see that up to I dipped, it is changed into red in color. So here red litmus has no change, but the blue litmus has changed into red in color. Now same, I am taking a red litmus paper, I am taking a solution next to solution, just I am dipping it, no change. Okay, fine. Next I am taking blue litmus paper, again I am dipping it, wow, no change. Red litmus and blue litmus, there is no change at all. Now I am going to dip a red litmus paper again in third solution. I am dipping it, very nice. It is completely changed into blue in color. And I am taking blue litmus paper and I am going to dip it in this third solution again. There is no color change. Okay children, so what we are going to conclude from this is, in this first solution, the red litmus paper has no change, but the blue litmus paper has changed into red in color. So we can conclude that always when red litmus paper has no change means that is acid, and the blue litmus changed into red in color means that is acid. So when you take red litmus and add an acid, no change. And this blue litmus paper in this same acid, it has changed into red litmus blue, it changed into red in color. Okay, so the next step. In this next solution, both red litmus and the blue litmus, both has no change at all. Okay, so no change is there means we will say as neutral solution. It is neutral. So almost all salts will have neutral in nature. Okay, so salts, when you come to salts, some of the salts will be of acidic in nature, basic in nature. So we will say as neutral. In this case, since it is behaving as neutral. So which is neutral solution is? Always water will be a neutral solution. And at the same time, when you take sugar and add to the water, still it behaves as neutral. In sugar solution also there will not be any color change in the neutral, in litmus paper. Next, when you come to third solution, it has changed the red litmus into blue in color, and the blue litmus remains the same. So when you come to the base, here is red litmus has changed into blue in color, and blue litmus has no change. Okay, so when you take a salt and add to that, means when you take a salt and add the litmus paper, it depends on the nature of the salt. Okay, so it depends on the nature. So if it is acidic salt, it will behave like that, and it is basic salt, it will behave like acid and base. Okay, so in neutral solution, if it is salt is neutral means no change. If the salt is neutral means there will not be any change. If it is neutral, you have to be very careful, and it is neutral only this will happen. Neutral salt. Next thing is we are going to test with the another thing, very important thing, phenolphthalein. Okay, so this is a phenolphthalein solution indicator, synthetic indicator, because it is just prepared in the lab. It is not being as this first solution. We know that already from the changes of the litmus. So I am adding towards the acid, and I am adding to acid is forming like a little bit cloudy, and immediately it will get dissolved in this acid. So phenolphthalein doesn't show any change in the acid and in neutral form. Okay, we know this is neutral by the change of litmus paper. Actually there is no change in this, so I am adding towards this. Here also a cloudy has formed, it is completely dissolved. Now I am taking the third solution, which is base in nature. So I am adding this phenolphthalein. Beautiful color has come. It is pink in color. So we can, from this we can infer that this is acid, this is neutral solution, and this is a base. So we can conclude in this by saying acids there is no change. So no change, instead we can say as colorless. Colorless or no change. And in base it is turned into pink in color. And in salt there is no change if it is neutral. Neutral salts. Okay, this indication no change only in the case of neutral, not for all the salts. Okay, so we can conclude with this today's session, children. We will discuss about reactions of this acids and base in the next session.